Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. In this video, we will be looking at what any passed on loved one in your life has to say. There could be multiple people that come through, or maybe you think that the messages relate to multiple different passed on loved ones. But think of at least one or two passed on loved ones. And if you don't really have anybody in your life who you know directly, like, maybe all of your relatives are still alive that you're close to, you can still think of your ancestors as it relates to this question as well. The question of any messages that a passed on loved one has for you. Here is stack 1A, stack 2B, stack 3C. You can pause if you'd like and if you need some more time to figure out which stack you're most drawn to. If you're not drawn to any of the stacks, that's completely fine. This just might not be the pick a card reading video for you, but I have plenty of other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. As a reminder, everything I talk about and discuss in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. Alright, let's get into it. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. Alright, so the cards here are Four of Wands upright, the Sun upright, Page of Wands in reverse, the Tower upright, Page of Pentacles upright, and the Hermit upright. And then we have Monkey Ingenuity. This situation calls for adaptability and innovation. And enjoy new beginnings. Celebrate socialized change. We will read from the guidebooks later on, but I'll still draw messages from the cards before reading in the guidebooks. So, there's different things coming through here. I will say, it seems like right now you're in a very good, positive place in life. It seems like you are in a place of your dreams coming true, and you have yourself to thank for that. But I do want to say for some of you, if you've been wondering if, because I feel like a lot of you have also been very lucky during this point in time, or recently you have been. If you've been wondering if, well, luck, but also I want to say like a lot of synchronicities are just like random occurrences. Like maybe you have for example, a dream job somewhere and you're like, I'm never even gonna apply to that place because they would never want me. And then, for example, that job reaches out to you, that workplace, and they're like, hey, you should apply, and then you get the job. Like it's very much that kind of energy where there's a lot of positive things that have been going on, and I think a lot of you feel like this is kind of too good to be true. A lot of you are in that state. And it reminds me of the Tower too, where the Tower I don't get as being negative in the sense here actually. I don't think ever pulled the Tower from this this tarot deck. Anyway, it feels like there's just a lot of things going on and a lot of things that have been going on lately. It feels like there's a lot on your plate, but that you're handling everything with grace. But what was I gonna say before? Oh, there's just so many messages coming through. Oh, if you've been wondering, like, this is kind of too good to be true. How is this happening? If you've been wondering if your passed on loved one has helped facilitate certain changes, the answer would be yes. I think they're definitely helping things pop up in your life, but I feel like this passed on loved one is saying, it's not just me. Like, I can send people your way, or I can send opportunities your way, but it's up to you what you make of that and what you do with that. So, your passed on loved one is like, I can't take all the credit for this. You, with the Page of Pentacles, you've been putting in hard work. And I think for a lot of you, you're in a place where a lot of things are happening that you've always wanted to have happen. I will say, if you've been wondering if your passed on loved one is aware of all the changes going on, they are definitely aware. Especially as this relates to romantic love. Four of Wands makes me think of engagements and weddings. In some instances, it could also indicate children, like starting a family in that sense. If any of that has recently happened, or you're in the process of starting that journey, then your passed on loved one is saying that they are aware of this happening and that they are so happy for you. I just feel such, oh my god, whoa, I feel like crying. I feel such pride in all that you're doing. And also, for some reason, I wanna say, like, you're breaking generational curses. You're doing the work that other people couldn't do. I think that's also what the tower is indicating here, like, you're a disruptor, you're a rebel in a sense, but it's in a way that is positive. Like, you're breaking these curses that should have been broken a long time ago and breaking patterns that should never have even began as part of a pattern, you know? It feels like you are part of this breaking of cycles that you're not even just any particular passed on loved one is proud of, but your ancestors. Oh my god, this feels whoa, this is so powerful. Okay. And we have enjoyed new beginnings too. So it also makes me think that with all these new changes that are happening in your life, I wonder if a lot of you, with that Page of Wands in reverse, it's indicating to me that some of you maybe feel either stuck a little bit or like maybe you just don't know which next step to take. And that can happen when our plans are happening, like our goals start happening. It's like, okay, that happened. Now what though? Like, where do I go from here? So if that's relating to you, then Spirit is saying take it step by step. Don't do too much to look into the whys and hows because with the tower here and just all the changes that I see happening, I think a lot of things that are going on right now may seem out of your control, but it's actually part of divine planning to allow your dream life to happen. And there's a highlighting of specifically having a happy life and a fulfilling life. A life that maybe your ancestor didn't get to have. But with enjoy new beginnings. Oh. When I was looking at socialize, at first I thought it said solstice. So maybe for this upcoming winter solstice, that could be an important time for you to honor your loved ones or do an altar, um oh, why can't I think of the term right now? Like a supper for the dead? Why can't I think of what it's called? But it's like you eat or a meal for the dead. I don't remember what it's called, but a lot of witchy people do this where you'll have dessert and then supper and then appetizer. And that's like making the favorite meal of a past loved one or a meal that an ancestor would have eaten. For some reason, doing that during the next winter solstice, I think will be a great way to honor them. I do want to say it feels like a lot of you are already honoring this passed on loved one through everything that you do and everything that you don't do because we bring up those generational curses again. I feel like you're doing things that maybe even this person always wanted to do, but they were never able to because of their circumstances, or they just felt they were too old. Or maybe they wanted to do something, but they didn't have the talent necessarily to do it. So I see them being very happy with where you're at now, even if that means having a healthy and happy relationship, you know. You think about the relationships of past loved ones and ancestors, and a lot of people weren't able to be in a space of having loving relationships for many reasons. So I think that's one of the ways in which your past loved one is so happy is that whether you're in a relationship right now or not, romantically, you are meant to be in a relationship where it is to be celebrated and the love is reciprocated between everybody. There's something I wanted to say more about that Page of Wands in reverse, so I kind of got off track. And even with that being mirrored by the Hermit here, it feels like, first of all, I do want to say before I get to that, Page of Pentacles mirroring the Sun indicates being rewarded for your efforts. So you should take ownership of how far you've come and how much work and effort you've put into your life to get to the point of where you are now. And with the Four of Wands and the Tower mirroring each other, it's like it makes me think of like what is it, the phrase at the end of a rainbow or at the end of a storm it comes a rainbow. So if you've been through a lot in life, Spirit is saying, or your past loved one is saying, you deserve ultimately all of the blessings that come your way. And even if, you know, your past loved one helps facilitate those blessings, it's ultimately karmically your time to receive blessings and good fortune and good luck. Okay, but there's something I was gonna say earlier that I got off track because of some other stuff, and I think it maybe involved the oh yeah. So if a lot of you maybe feel like you can't move forward because of your past loved one not being here, I hear them saying that they don't want for you to think like this anymore. They want you to know that there's ways in which you can honor them and you can still talk to them. With the hermit, I imagine you like talking to them alone or like in your head thinking to them or like asking them for signs and all that. But if there's anything in your life, and I want to go back to an example of, let's say you're about to get married, let's say you're engaged. Let's say that, I- okay, wait, because I would do want to say this before I forget. I feel like the energy that reads here, this will resonate with some of you, but or the majority of you, but for some of you it maybe doesn't. But I just want to say I'm very much getting male energy, especially as it relates to a father figure or even an uncle. That's the energy I was getting from the start, but definitely male energy. If you don't know who this would relate to, or you don't think it would relate to any male energy in your life, it could be that it's somebody who's more maternal or who is a woman. Uh, this is just what I wanted to throw out there. And now this ties in with the example as well that I want to give. Let's say that some of you are engaged or are about to get married, and let's say that you don't want to do this ceremony. You don't want to do it without your father. You never imagine walking down the aisle without your father or having your father be there in some way. Uh, I see I see that can be very difficult for you, and it will I think it could also cause you to have in that kind of circumstance confusion over whether you're even making the right decision. Your past loved one doesn't want you to self-sabotage because you have a lot of good things going right now. They're saying, "Don't worry about me. I'm still here just in spirit. Like I'm still watching over. I'm still making sure everything's okay. I'm still helping to guide you. I don't need to actually physically be there." So on something like a wedding, getting married, starting a family, your past loved one is saying, "I'm still here." And if you have any reservations about doing any of these things, or you think that you will not do them well enough because you don't have the guidance of me, that is untrue. You have already done so much individually. I think there's a good balance between you being very individualistic, but also still having values that relate to your family, or just having maybe close relationships with certain family members. And oh, by the way, some of you maybe have a past loved one who is more of a friend. I do get the sense that this is more familial, but or even a family friend. But again, if it makes more sense that it's a friend, then you can take with that what you will. Anyway, uh, so if you think that you don't have the resources or that you're not good enough, your past loved one is saying you've already done so much in your life. You have so much life left to live, and there's nothing to worry about because you're already doing so great. You don't need to worry about doing anything wrong or making mistakes. And you don't need to be hopefully too upset about things not being able to pan out the way you originally thought, such as if you were to be walked down the aisle by a father figure at a wedding. This person, this past loved one is saying, although things aren't perfect, your life, the trajectory of your life is going so great. Don't let me not physically being there, excuse me, don't let it hinder your abilities. Don't let it hinder your want and need to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life because that's already laid out for you. You just have to allow for it to happen. Don't be worried about me not being there, and I will still send signs to guide you. Oh, and with monkey here, it calls for adaptability and innovation. There are things that you've had to overcome so much in life, and I think you already are so intelligent and wise in ways you don't understand because of the ways in which you've had to adapt and grow from a very young age. So this past loved one is saying, you already have the knowledge needed to move forward in life. Do not allow yourself to be stagnant. And don't question yourself now because you've made it so far and you've already done so well with the resources you had available to you. Anything that has not turned out as planned, that does not mean that the plan doesn't have to happen at all. You just have to be able to compromise, and you have to be willing to shift and change things around. There's no need to worry about things not turning out as planned. And for and also now's a good time to be introspective with the Hermit here upright. Your past loved one is saying, again, you can still reach out to me. Anything you're confused about, you can reach out to me. I can't provide all the answers, but I can show you support through the other side, and I can make it known that I'm here. I think that's a big thing, is that they'll make it known, like, you'll just feel them around. It's not even necessarily that they'll send you a bunch of signs maybe, although I think that you are very in tune with this person that has passed on. And I think the signs you get won't be something like, "Oh, yeah, I see a dime or a butterfly." It's more so like the events that happen or the random occurrences, the random opportunities that are presented to you that seem too good to be true, but it's like they aren't. It's just such good things happening. So that's be aware of those things. But also, if you're ever feeling stressed or anxious, just ask for this past loved one to be around you, and you'll start to feel them around you. And the way it's coming across is it'll feel like a gentle, warm hug, and you'll feel warm, like, in your chest, and you'll just feel at peace. So I don't see anything that needs to be worried about. Spirit sees that there's a lot of big things happening now and a lot of big things coming your way, so they don't want you for you to self-sabotage. They want for you to embrace and relish in those moments. That's another message too. They don't want for you to tap in if we're talking about that Page of Wands in reverse, they don't want for you to rush through any of these processes. They want for you to really savor every milestone because it's something that you should be proud of. They are saying that you should be as proud of yourself as I am of you. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional again. Now I'm looking at the Page of Pentacles, and it says, "When life gives you lemons, make enchant a lemonade." So there's so many opportunities being presented to you now, or shortly, or soon in the future. So you just have to be unafraid. You have to be willing to take risks as well, but also you are just so protected. You were just so oh, tears. Okay. You're so loved from the other side. And if anything doesn't go as planned, with that tower being here, there are ways in which you can adapt, and it will almost be like no mistakes even happen. And then you'll realize that a lot of the ways in which big changes happen and you need to adapt, then those adaptations were meant for your journey and meant for these other better things to happen, as opposed to if they were to be, as opposed to if a situation was panning out the way it was previously. Does that make sense? So for some of you, maybe you just think that things going on don't make sense, but your past loved one is saying this is part of your plan, and we are just so happy to see. I just can't explain how happy and proud, like, I feel like I can see and sense your past loved one tearing up on the other side too. Like, we are just so proud. And they really, this past loved one thinks the world of you. They think that you are just, again, everything that they wish they could have been, and doing everything they wish they could have done. For some of you too, you may resonate with this where they may feel, or you may feel like they live vicariously through you because of that, or anything they didn't get to experience. That doesn't take away from you experiencing these things, by the way. It's just that this passed on loved one could be on for the on what is it? They could be along for the ride, along for the journey. And it's like they are so happy that at least you get to experience these amazing things in life, and that you get to be happy. And that for some reason I want to bring up, I wonder if this person in life wasn't able to just experience much in general. They may have had a pretty quote unquote boring life, and so there's a lot that they did want to do. So that's why they're so happy that you get to do these things instead. The passed on loved one is saying, don't pass up on opportunities that do have a level of risk, because if you tap into the hermit, if you're introspective and you really think about what you want, if it feels like something you want or something you need, then don't be afraid about any risk. If it's something you don't want, don't need, and that you're able to say no to, then you can say no to that, even if other people want for you to say yes to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm serious. I just keep seeing like a bright sun. Not just because of the sun actually being here, but like there's so much light and there's candles in the Four of Wands and the Page of Wands in reverse, there's candle there. I mean the tower has fire there, but not necessarily in a positive way. But I think that there's so many things coming that you aren't even aware of happening yet as well. There's things you already know about, and the tower paired with that enjoying new beginnings is like there's things you don't even know about happening yet. So your passed on loved one is saying to be prepared for things that are unexpected, because that just because unexpected things happen does not mean it is bad. The hermit, tap into your intuition during this time and pay attention to any clues or signs. Also, with the sun and sunflowers being there, I wonder if sunflowers are like a sign that you get from your past loved one, or if they loved sunflowers. I know that one of my grandparents loved sunflowers, but so it just reminded me of that. Let's read in the guidebooks now. Okay, monkey ingenuity. This situation calls for adaptability and innovation. No matter what's happening right now, you've got to be able to first adjust to the circumstances at hand, then generate creative solutions or ideas and act on them. This situation will require you to get your hands on it, take a good look at it, use your intelligence coupled with your gut sense to evaluate it, then choose a course of action. Don't get rigid about your choice, however, as once you make your move, new factors will come into play and you may have to adjust your course again, sometimes very rapidly. Count on it. That's like what I've been saying too. It's kind of like swinging from tree to tree. You have to be very quick in anticipating which branch to grab hold of. Don't get discouraged if one direction doesn't pan out. Just be willing to shift and it will work out. Yes, exactly. From time to time, use that keen mind of yours to stop and assess what's happening, hermit energy, then continue on, perhaps with a slight change in course based on new information. Once you stop and look back, you'll see that every move was timely and purposeful. You have an amazing ability to move through life in a fluid and poetic fashion, whether or not you're aware of it. That's the thing, I think a lot of you aren't even aware of it, how able you are to adapt to these changes. Just don't get stuck in old habits and routines. Trust in that and you can do no wrong. Additional associations: dexterity, cleverness, inquisitiveness, and innovation. And I think I talked about this earlier, but I think maybe I didn't. I don't know. Some of you think you're not deserving of all these blessings coming your way. Your past on loved one really wants to emphasize you are deserving. You are deserving of these good things. Even if, like, your past on loved one didn't get to experience those things. Enjoy new beginnings, celebrate socialized change. And then I will only read where it says the ancestors speak and divinatory meaning. So it says the ancestors speak. Something positive and exciting is about to happen for you. This is a time of celebration for you and your loved ones. Enjoy this social time, which may include birthdays, pregnancy announcements, anniversaries, engagements, weddings, parties, and other festivities. Yep. Your ability to connect with and glimpse the future is heightened. Pay special attention to dreams and visions to prepare for a fresh opportunity. Divinatory meaning. A period of darkness or inactivity is a time to resynchronize with family, friends, and your goals. Enjoy and honor who you are and where you are going. Focus on the changes you want to bring to your life. Stay positive and go with the flow. That's the thing. Going with the flow is very important right now. I did talk about that, not specifically using go with the flow, I don't think, but just to be ready and prepared for any new things that pop up, because there's a lot of things that will happen that you'll have to be prepared for, just ready for, to jump on those opportunities. Enjoy the changes and beginnings that are coming your way. A move to a new home or an exciting career change may be popping up for you. Yeah, there's just so much going on for you, and I am so excited. And so is your past loved one. So I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 1A, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. if you liked the video, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below if you have resonated with this stack, and you can also update your comments again in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel, it helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel, and you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR, that will be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, Wendy. Take care. Hello, Tubi, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. The cards pulled here are Page of Cups in reverse, Ten of Swords upright, the Emperor in reverse, Ace of Pentacles upright, Eight of Wands in reverse, and Toxic Witches or the Devil upright. And then we have Whale, Soul's Path, Honor Your Soul's Purpose, and Family Connections, Respect, People, Kinship. I think it's really interesting too how for the Ten of Swords, the person is holding a bottle and it says curse. I think also I feel like as opposed to stack 1, it feels like this is more so a collective of people coming in, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is more so just your ancestors, like, from a long time ago coming in. It feels like I talked about generational trauma in pile 1, group 1, but for you, it feels like there really is almost like a curse on your family or on your bloodline. I feel like you probably, in terms of like, you and your family, you've probably encountered a lot of bad luck. And just yeah. And if you go, like, further back generations, you probably can see how that also applies. But I do wanna say, with the Ace of Pentacles here, with seeing that, it makes me think that you are, like, the shining light of your family. And it feels like, I wouldn't be surprised if you have to actually take care of a family member, like, a family member, a parent who is older and continues to age and maybe decline in cognitive health or physical health or both. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. But I do want to say something else that I'm getting is that it seems like you probably don't really get along with your family, and your passed on loved one or your ancestors see that. And they're saying that it's okay for you to actually not get along with all of your family members. And it's really interesting because with family connections, I actually get the sense that part of what your past loved one is trying to tell you is that it's okay to actually take a step back from these family members and make your own family connections with people who are not blood related with you. To make your own chosen family, to join that and be a part of that. It seems like a lot of you maybe are kind of stuck because of the people you feel like you need to still communicate with people and have people in your life. And your past loved one is saying that it's not really necessary to have to do that. The family that you should have around you are the people that respect you and are kind to you. So for a lot of you, that can include instead focusing on fostering connections with chosen family. Because it feels like the people in your life right now just don't get you, like your actual blood-related family, it seems like they don't get you. We have Ten of Swords upright too, so I feel like your past loved one is saying, "We see all the shenanigans going on, and it's not cute. It's not cute how people are treating you," and it feels like there's a lot of lies and a lot of deceit. It seems like people don't really care about the actual family unit itself at all. People just care about their own individual interests, and so then people maybe hide behind, well, this is how it's been for generations. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you have people like that in your family who are very traditional and, like, blame or place wrongdoing on their family or their ancestors, saying that it's not their fault, that they were raised a certain way. I see a lot of people treating other people poorly because of how they were raised and thinking that that's okay just because it's how they were raised and then how their parents were raised and how their grandparents were raised. And with Whale saying honor your soul's purpose, I think your past loved one is saying to cut through the BS and really get to the heart of the issue, because it seems like people are afraid to actually own up to their mistakes. And with the Page of Cups in reverse, it indicates to me that people oh, is my cat gonna scratch on the bed? Maybe. Maybe he will in a minute. But it seems like people aren't able to really effectively communicate with each other. It seems like people act from a place of irrationality and fear. There's a lot of fear of change that I'm seeing here, a lot of fear of being different. So it feels like a lot of people. There goes my cat. So it feels like a lot of people are Eight of Wands in reverse stuck in the past. A lot of people aren't able to move forward. This could also relate to the passed on loved one themselves that passed. For maybe, you hear stories about people who say, oh yeah, this one person passed away and then the whole family unit just went to crap. Like people stopped talking to each other or people stopped being kind to each other. It changed this person's personality. It changed that person's course of career path. You hear about stories like that. So I wonder if this person is related in some way to that, where it just changed the entire family dynamic. And it's almost like the entire family dynamic is like, who are we without this person around? We aren't really a family if we don't have this person. And if that's the case, then that means it wasn't a strong family unit to begin with. So I just don't see much strength in that. Ace of Pentacles upright makes me think further that you are able to and that you should and will build your own connections outside of family. It seems like you're able to attain safety and security through other relationships that aren't with those who are blood related to you. It seems like you're also very individualistic where you are forging your own path. And your past loved one wants to say to not worry about what other people are telling you to do. I feel like there's a lot of judgment that other people are placing upon you within your family unit because you're trying to do things for yourself and not only for the family unit. You hear about that where it's like people are like, I work just for providing for my family, or I live just to provide for my family. It's like that is beautiful that you do that, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you do. Like, who are you outside of family? And I think you're on a path or on a journey right now of figuring that out. And so other people feel uncomfortable by that, but you trying to have any sort of individuality, any people in your family life. So then people I think are judging you for that. People are like, I feel like there's a lot of gossip within your family. Even if we look at toxic witches here, the devil, be cautious of those who take more than they give. I really get that vibe as well, where I feel like people expect a lot from other people, but then they don't feel that they should have to give as much. Because I've been through a lot in life, or whatever it is that people say. So people do not feel like they are grounded. It feels like things are very chaotic and hectic. It feels like people don't see each other very much right now, and if they do, that they're just not getting along. So your past loved one is saying that they see that. And if I do want to say, for those of you who have a past loved one who took part in that toxic family dynamic, which I feel like this is very much a family generational thing, so it's very likely. If they took part in any of that, there's a sense of them saying, I'm sorry, and that I see more on the other side, my part in this toxic behavior or in this toxic family dynamic. And I see a lot of them saying that they wish they could have done more and that they could have been different instead of engaging in groupthink kind of thing, instead of only being focused on their own inner world. And it feels like a lot of people just lash out because of being scared. So your past loved one is saying, I wish I wasn't so scared. I wish that I didn't cause as much hurt and pain as I did. For some of you, maybe that doesn't resonate, but I feel like for many of you, that will, where it's like they're finally taking ownership now that they can see things from a different perspective on the other side of, I'm so sorry that I didn't do more to help combat this or prevent this or just speak up about this. And or I'm sorry about any compliance I had in this. There's a sense that I think I do want to say with me saying that, I think a lot of you, it's almost like, well, finally you say that. And so, like, finally, I've been waiting for somebody to say it. I wonder if some of you too, though, me saying all this, you're like, well, I want people in the real world to say they're sorry or to admit their wrongdoings, admit when they make a mistake. And some of you are maybe just like, okay, like, yes, on the other side, I don't want to have to wait until the current family members are passed away for this realization to come to them because it's affecting everybody. And I think for a lot of you, you could see how in the past or even maybe presently how you've engaged in this sort of maybe groupthink or toxic behavior to help keep the family unit together, even though the things that keep the family unit together are the same things that appear to break the family unit apart. The Emperor in reverse, it seems like nobody really has control over the dynamics between what's going on within the family right now. And that could also be because of anybody who is passed away who was in charge. Who was in charge of like getting everybody together for like family dinners or family vacations, family just gatherings or get-togethers in general. Somebody who was maybe seen as like the matriarch or the patriarch or an equivalent. If they are passed away, then it can be hard for people to get together because maybe that person who passed away was the person who got everybody together and who also maintained stability for people. I always feel like I feel like there's always chaos within your family unit or like a lot of things going on, people not getting along. But I feel like you may have a past loved one who at least tried to neutralize the energies of everybody involved more, but if they're not here anymore, then that just further indicates the chaos and how people aren't getting along and people aren't seeing eye to eye. People aren't traveling to see each other. With the Eight of Wands in reverse, it makes me think too that, oh, and with the Ace of Pentacles, I wonder if, like, for holidays, oh, when is this being uploaded? It is around holiday season, or yeah, it's coming up. So for some of you, maybe you won't be able to travel back home for the holidays or see people for the holidays. And I feel like your past loved one is saying that that's okay. Focus on you right now. If you can't get together with family and they're going to be upset by that, they'll just have to be upset with that, is the way this is coming across. Where I don't see that they'll get over it, but there's a sense of, I feel like people, if you don't go to the family gatherings, people will probably talk bad about you behind your back, but I feel like that's not something you'd be surprised about. But I feel like your past loved one is saying, don't worry about other people. If you literally can't go there because of like work or location, then you just have to say that. And they're gonna have to, like, there's no amount of convincing, is what I'm hearing, that will convince people that you like don't hate them. It's like everybody, I think, in this family unit, it feels like a lot of people attack other people before they can be attacked as well. So I think a lot of people take things very personally. And your past loved one is saying to try not to take things personally yourself by how other people treat you. If there's any way in which, like, people say they want to get together with you in the family unit and you say you can't or that you don't want to, don't worry about what they might say bad about you behind your back. You can just expect that it's likely to happen, but that you will not stoop to that level. You will not also engage with people just so that they don't talk as poorly about you, because people are going to find a way to talk poorly about you or anybody else in the family system anyway. So your past loved one is saying that they see that this dynamic is a pattern and that most people will not break this throughout their entire lives. Hopefully some people will come to their senses, but it feels like this is something that's going to be lifelong for people. So the Whale and the Ace of Pentacles are saying, do what's best for you. Page of Cups in reverse, I feel like you're very drained by family. The family dynamics as they stand now. And so a Ten of Swords is about hurt and pain. And so I feel like also Ten of Swords talks about endings and loss. Endings and loss. So I wonder if there's also been a lot of people who have recently passed away for you, or there just maybe a lot of family members who already have passed away. You know, some people, like me, my grandparents on all sides passed away when I was very young or even before I was born. And I just didn't know them. So for me, it's not traumatic for me to think about that. But if there was a lot of people in your family that you knew very well that have passed away, that could be what's causing this divide within people if there's multiple people that have passed away. And so it feels like it's hard for everybody to maintain any relationships with one another. There's something else I was gonna say though. Also with endings, some of you, I think this is an indication from your past loved one that not only is it okay to set boundaries, but it literally is okay to completely stop talking to people. I did mention that before, but, your past loved one is saying that even if I was close to them, even if I love them, even if you love them, if you need to protect your peace by not talking to people, whether it's for a short amount of time or indefinitely, then you need to do that for yourself. And it might be hard, but that's, I think, for a lot of you, part of what's breaking those curses, those family generational curses and cycles, is not engaging in the behavior of other people who are very toxic or negative or who are damaging to your psyche is the way this comes across. Like people who just like don't believe in you. I feel like you don't have a very good support system in terms of your family. And if your past loved one or multiple of them weren't very supportive of you in the present life, if you are open to them being around, they would be willing to show you support and to help guide you and or provide signs if you're looking for it. That's the thing too with any past loved ones, I think, that are represented here. Some of you actually don't want them to be around you, even if they're passed on. And although I see that that could be, I guess you could say, hurtful for them, like, I think on the other side, when people start growing and they try to reach out to you, you still have an ability to say no. And I think some of you aren't ready to open that door. And some of you maybe never want to open that door to have open communication with certain past family members or loved ones. So, in that sense, I would say that you should do what's best for you. If you don't want to engage in conversations with past loved ones or family members in that way, you don't have to. Honor your soul's purpose. Do what's best for you. It's really a time for doing what's best for you and cutting out the crap. No longer engaging with people who are not good people. I think there's a lot of people around you who are genetically tied in some way who are just not good people. So, there's no need now to continue to make excuses for them, the people who have passed, the people who are living. Like, there's for me, I literally have certain boundaries put in place so that my certain, like, passed on family members, I tell them, like, "You in no way can reach out to me, you cannot send me signs." So for some of you, that could relate here as well. Because it's interesting, with stack 1, I felt like there's a lot of their voice that was coming through, the past loved one. For you all, it's almost like the voice of them is muted, but it's also because it feels like there might be many people. But I think now also since certain people have passed away, there's a lot of things that you hold grudges for, and it's actually really weird I'm saying this, but it is okay for you to hold these grudges. I feel like we shouldn't look at them as grudges, but just more so, again, boundaries, and maybe like, I hate when people say, "Oh, why don't you just forgive them?" It, like, brings you more peace. Okay, well, for giving forgiveness to other people is a solo journey, and it's up to you, not other people. So if any people are thinking of or if any people in your life are telling you, "Oh, just forgive that person, like, they're passed away now," or "Forgive this other person who's still living." Like, we're family. We're family. We're supposed to like, things happen. I don't like when people say that, so I think there's a lot of that you need to work through. And if there's anybody living or deceased who you do not want to forgive, you, by all means, do not have to forgive people. If there's people who you feel like you may forgive one day, but you're still on a long healing journey, Eight of Wands in reverse is saying that grief is a long road, it's a long journey. So take your time, and if you never get to that place, don't shame yourself and don't blame yourself. There's no need to rush anything, there's no need to force anything. If there's any way in which there's something I was gonna say about that. But seriously, if there is any way in which that applies to you, there's no need to be upset or worried. It's a time of no longer focusing on the family unit. So I know that that's kind of not really happy-go-lucky, but I think I really do get the sense that a lot of you aren't surprised by this, where it's like, yeah, I don't really get along with family anyway, or like everybody's locationally in different parts of the world now. And it just seems like you're living your own life. And so with establishing your own life, there's parts of your past that your past loved one also wants you to, excuse me, to work through. Because even though you don't have to forgive people, but you should still work on healing yourself, whatever that looks like for you. So whether that's cutting ties with certain family members or moving if you haven't moved, there's some sense that you need to at least let go of the past in a way so that it doesn't affect your present, because I see that taking over as well. So your past loved one is saying we see that you're still affected by these things from the past, and we don't want for you to be in that state because that will inhibit your growth and it will inhibit your individuality, your individual self, and your own personality to shine through because you're being plagued by these things in the past. Your loved one is saying you don't need to be like, you can still be upset by the past, but it doesn't need to dictate your present or your future. You can do things that, like, how you impulsively react to things, right? If somebody upsets you, how do you react? Thinking about things like that. How do you react in situations where you're stressed or sad? And how does that relate to when you were younger? And how does that relate to the family unit? Is it toxic or is it a healthy way of coping or managing stress? That's a really important thing for you to focus on right now. And also, there is a lot of grief that's here too. So if in any way you are still grieving a passed on loved one, this is saying continue that process. A lot of times it's a lifelong journey, and so don't rush that. And any way in which you grieve, any feelings that come up as it relates to the grieving process, they are valid. Okay. Let's go into the guidebooks now. So we have Whale, Soul's Path, Honor Your Soul's Purpose. It's time to stop fooling yourself and get moving on your soul's path. Pay close attention to the subtleties of your experience and listen very, very carefully to those urgings that are begging you to honor the deepest truth of who you are. Not what you think everyone else will approve of, but the path that heeds the voice of your soul that's been calling to you since before you were born. Every experience up to this point in your life has shaped you, and even the lives that you've lived before exert their karmic influence. At this point, you can no longer live your life driven solely by ego. Instead, it's important to consciously and consistently attune to your most profound sense of self and align with Spirit's intent. You know, also what this reminds me of is like people who have a family business that's been going on for generations, and let's say you break that, you don't want to you break that cycle, you don't want to do that, and then people get all up in arms about it, and people feel like it's the end of the world. It's like, no, you gotta do what's best for you, you know? Okay. It will take courage and faith to dive into these depths, but you have indeed funded the power and the strength to do so. Claim the destiny that you know is yours and act on it now. Additional associations: migration, devotion, communication, soul memory. Yeah, migration. So possibly moving. Also soul memory. Some of you may need to do past life stuff. Because if you have connections with living or deceased family members, that you want to cut ties with, some of that may relate to past lives, so you need to cut ties with past lives that you've potentially had with any of these people as well. The people in our inner circles are people who could be in our soul group or who we haven't reincarnated with many times in the past. So just something to consider. Now we have family connections, respect, people, kinship. And for this, I will only be reading from the Ancestor Speak and Divinatory Meaning. The Ancestors speak. It's time to reconnect with your family. You don't need to live with or spend a lot of time with them, like the Samoans, but perhaps you could call or visit a family member. Your family doesn't have to be biological, exactly. They could be your adopted family or friends. Sometimes our biological families are no longer part of our lives, and that is okay. It is important to create your own family in whatever way suits you. You may even view your pets as your furry children and family. For some reason, I feel like being around animals could be very healing for you right now, actually. Like being near a farm, like going to a conservatory or anything, animal conservatory, or what is it called? A nature, like a preservation site. I don't know. This card can also be a sign that family members, passed away or living, are trying to contact you. So yeah, I do get a sense that it's more muted, but family who have passed on may try to reach out to you. So it's up to you if you want to accept that or not. You always have a choice to say yes or no to that. And just because you say yes once doesn't mean yes all the time either. You can set up boundaries in place for those who are no longer living. Divinatory Meaning. This card can appear where unresolved negative feelings are associated with a family member. This is a prompt that it is now time to heal. Try not to carry around the pain from your past anymore. Literally what I've been saying. Do not feel guilty for wanting to move forward in your life. You may need to distance yourself from the energy of a family member, and that is okay. Look after yourself and focus on surrounding yourself with people who love, honor, and treat you with the respect you deserve. This is literally exactly what I've been saying. So that's perfect. Thank you to the Oracle card guidebooks for helping provide the validation for me, but also for you as well, hopefully. I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, 2B, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the video, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel, it helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. And you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR. They'll be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, 2P, and take care. Hello, 3C, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. Here we have 9 of Cups in reverse, 10 of Cups upright, 2 of Pentacles upright, Queen of Wands in reverse, the Patient Witch or Temperance in reverse, and 3 of Pentacles upright. And then we have for the Oracle cards, Raccoon, Resourcefulness. You have all the resources you need, and explore your creative side, visualize, paint, and record. And I will read from the guidebooks later for those 2 Oracle cards. But for now, let's focus on this. So, I do want to say, you were definitely protected and watched over in this moment. And I feel like if I had to say who this passed on loved one is, I do get more of a feminine energy, but it doesn't have to be. It's just for those of you where it resonates, then it can resonate. But I do get a very feminine, gentle energy that comes through here. And this could be somebody who is a maternal figure, such as a mom or aunt or grandma, but it could also be a friend, is also the sense I'm getting. So it doesn't have to be just family. I do get friend vibes here as well for some of you. Anyway, this past loved one coming through, they want to let you know that you very much are protected at all times. It seems like there is a lot of uncertainty in your life right now. It's really weird. I wonder if you are in a point in your life now where hmm, it okay. It gives the vibe, the spread gives the energy that you have close connections with family, whether it's living or deceased, but you don't have as strong of connections with friends. 3 of Pentacles too. I wonder if a lot of you at this point in time are getting more involved in your faith. That could be an established religion, or it could be any spiritual practice you engage in. I wonder if a lot of you are building a community around that, or at least you're trying to seek it out. If you haven't been able to find people that you can have a community with yet, like we do have the Queen of Wands here, which is about, it can be about social anxiety. So I think some of you, ooh, and 2 of Pentacles. I wonder if a lot of you are just struggling with work-life balance, or the balance between. It also reminds me of the balance between grieving versus living your life. And I will say, if you are in any point in life grieving, right? How am I trying to say this? If you're still grieving, like grieving is a lifelong process. For some people, it never goes away, right? Your past loved one wants to say that you don't need to worry about me. I'm fine where I am. And don't only live your life by thinking about me or thinking about what could have been for my life. Think about what you can do for your life. So, if you're balancing grief and socialization, meeting new people, then your loved one in this situation is saying that it's okay to like make friends, to be happy. You don't always have to think only about me. And they want for you to be able to live your life. But yeah, I feel like in general, you may be struggling with work-life balance or with family versus friends. So maybe you have to keep you have to right now help take care of family members who are still grieving, or you have to, like, let's say if a family member passes away, but you're an older sibling, so you're still watching over younger siblings, even if they're adults, it's like you feel like you need to do that. That could be what's indicated here too, is taking up more responsibilities ever since the passing of this person. So that could be why, if you just have really in life right now any large amount of responsibilities, it might feel like it's hard for you to meet new people, and it may be hard for you to okay, wait, I want to talk about this. Temperance in reverse, that relates to the fact that some of you maybe have been putting off the grieving process, or you haven't fully, um, felt ever since this family member or friend passed away, like, you haven't fully processed your emotions and feelings about it, so your passed on loved one, for those of you who that relates to, they want for you to be okay with feeling sad or angry, to start any grieving or progress the grieving process. Like, if you've been stagnant in that, then it could, like, you will know if you're stagnant in that grieving process or not based off of the feelings that come up when you think about the passing of this loved one. So for some of you, you really need to address your feelings head on right now. And yeah, I just think a lot of you maybe are a little bit lost for what you want to do in life. It seems like you have ideas, but you just don't know how to execute them. But I love that we have raccoon here because this is saying you have all the resources you need. And we have explore your creative side. This could be a very specific indication from spirit or from your past loved one that it is time for you to engage in your creative endeavor more. That could mean even just like as a hobby, doing more creative endeavors. Like, some of you maybe love painting, but you're really bad at it. That's just an example. Some of you maybe are actually good at it though. And if a lot of you want to get better, by the way, at something such as painting, raccoon, you have all the resources you need. This is indication that you have the ability to get better at something creatively. So whether that means get a teacher or you look up a lot of videos for something, you join that Three of Pentacles, it would be a good idea to join a community of people who also enjoy this creative activity so that they can help you to be better. Or if you have any advice, you can ask people. So it's a really good time now. Your past loved one is saying it's a good time to explore your creative side more. And if you've already like been doing creative things and exploring your creative side, you've already maybe tried making it a full-time or part-time job, doing anything creative. This is a good indication from your past loved one that you should just continue to go for it. I think the one thing you may struggle with though is networking right now. And also I don't see this if you want to turn your creative thing into a full-time career. I don't see it taking off right away. So that's also why I think your past loved one is saying you have the ability, you have the talent now, or you soon will acquire more of the ability with learning and with practice. A big emphasis on practice, and practice makes perfect. Also, I want to say patience makes perfect. So yeah, take your time. If you're not good at something or the best at something right away, or something isn't working out right away, that doesn't mean abandon it. Your past loved one is saying that we're here to help protect you and guide you in this moment. If you need assistance for how to relay your creative side. I do want to say, for some of you, maybe the thing you need in order to grieve is this creative endeavor. Let's just stick with painting. Why not? Let's say that you have a lot of trapped emotions in you, but you're not good with your words. You're not the best at explaining them. Queen of Wands in reverse can indicate the inability or not wanting to express to other people how you're feeling or what you're thinking. So if you're still in any grieving process right now, your past loved one is saying that it doesn't have to be good. Don't focus on being a perfectionist. Some of you may struggle with that. Don't try to struggle with any of that. Just focus on how it makes you feel to do these things, even if you don't keep the art you make or you're not proud of it. Just do it, and you won't even have to worry about being happy with the end result because you'll just feel this release. That's how you'll know you're engaging in this creative endeavor properly as it relates to releasing emotion, is when you have a release and you don't feel as weighed down. I think you'll also get a lot of epiphanies as you engage in this creative activity where I think the puzzle pieces in your brain will fall together. And also I'm hearing that if there's any questions you had about your upbringing, like why certain things were done or what this person in your life was thinking, you'll get a lot more clarity intuitively because creativity and intuition go hand in hand for many things. So you'll be a lot more intuitively open as well. If you are creatively open, you'll also be a lot more able to decipher the signs that are sent to you from spirit if you're asking for signs when you're more intuitively open and when you're more emotionally available. But in order to get more emotionally available, some of you need to hone in on your creative hobbies, interests, or even careers more. And turn your pain into art. Whether you like the art or not. I think a lot of you are very self-critical as well. Like, you don't think you do things well enough. So don't focus on if you like it or not. Because if you go in with that mindset, you're probably not even gonna like it anyway, most of you. Even if it's something like a dance, you learn a dance. You do like a or you learn a song, you learn guitar. Let's say you're not the best at it though. At playing an instrument. Practice makes perfect, but also we don't want to focus on perfect. So I'll say practice makes better. Practice makes happy. Focus on being happy. For some of you though, while doing these creative things, because I feel like there's so much trapped emotions, I feel like you'll be quite upset and sad at first, so it will be hard to continue on that path of doing any of these creative hobbies or interests. And if you have a career, if you tap in more to like any grief or any pain that you've experienced in life in general, I think a lot of you might feel very upset by those and overtaken by those emotions at first. But your past loved one is saying to hang in there because eventually that pain won't be pain anymore. It will be transmuted into positive, warm, comforting energy, and you'll be able to heal. And I think it will help open the doors for other areas of your life, opportunities to come in, but also just for you to heal in multiple areas. So let's say you heal from the passing of this loved one, but then you also heal from any breakup romantically that you had in the past. I just think with that Knight of Cups in reverse, Spirit is saying that you have potential, but it's like you're blocking it off for yourself. You're not allowing it to come full force. So you need to be more open with yourself and more vulnerable with yourself. But I'm also hearing that it's good for you to engage in conversations with other people. And if not conversations, then show your art to people or just very briefly say, this is what this dance means to me, this song with the lyrics, this is what it means to me. I think a lot of you will express your grief more so, I guess, through actions then, or through any art form itself. So keep that in mind, but there's a way in which you need to, I think, connect with other people with grieving. Three of Pentacles can also relate to support groups, trauma groups. So if you've experienced loss or if you've experienced an abusive relationship, because I don't think this just relates to loss. I think, again, once you focus more on any loss in your life, it'll open up other areas that you need to heal, that you need to focus on and point out what still needs healing from those moments. So any support group would be very beneficial for you to join, or if there's anybody that you know, if you're able to reach out to them. I see you having a small group of trusted individuals in your life that you can trust with certain information and with maybe your creative or artistic outlets, your emotional outlets. So I think that's part of what your past loved one is saying as well. Like, you don't need to make this a whole big thing where a lot of people are involved, if that makes sense. So I feel like you shouldn't just keep everything in. You should be able to talk to other people or relay messaging to other people that you are grieving or that you're going through something. Or just being around people, like, you can just very simply say, "Hey, I'm not doing the best, I don't wanna talk about it." That's something that I think would work really greatly for a lot of you, is not always having to say the specifics of what you're going through and how you're feeling, but being like, "Hey, I'm not doing the best today," or, "I'm missing this person today, I don't wanna talk about it, I just want to be with people." That's a really big message I think that your past loved one has for you is, like, you don't need to you don't need to expose all of yourself, like, you can even, in a limited capacity, expose your inner feelings if you want, but you need to do that to some capacity. There's a sense that you're holding too much in, so you need to be able to let that out, and you'll see that you'll be a lot lighter and a lot happier. And then for other areas of your life where you feel stagnant or you feel like things aren't happening in the way you want with the Nine of Cups in reverse and Temperance in reverse, it makes me think that, well, and that paired with the Two of Pentacles, I will say, once you find a better balance in your life, things will fall into place more and you'll be a lot happier. And then Also, I think a lot of your dreams and goals will shift and change as well. And I think a lot of you, the messaging from your past loved one is that you aren't ready for certain things to happen yet. You aren't ready. You still have to put in the work. Part of that work greatly ties to your emotional healing and exploring your creative side. Once you're able to do that, I mean, look, you have all the resources you need. Raccoon is saying these goals that you have in mind, these things you want to accomplish, these achievements, they are making their way to you almost, or maybe it's like they're already there, but they're just stuck behind this locked cage or like, or they're behind this wall or barricade. And that barricade can't be, oh, sorry, my cat. Come here, honey. He's been walking over the keyboard lately, so I gotta be careful that he doesn't do that. Okay, but I feel like your past loved one is saying, we've helped guide these opportunities to you, and these goals and achievements are just around the corner. We've helped to make sure that these happen, but we cannot allow for you to tap into your absolute full potential as it relates to material or physical realm. We can't allow certain things to happen yet until you work on yourself, because even if these things happen, you won't actually be ready in the way you think you are, or you won't be as happy for any achievements. So we want your past loved one is saying we want for you to actually enjoy and relish in those achievements, those opportunities that come your way, any abundance, right? Yeah, just overall, I feel like you need to unlock more happiness. A lot of you aren't very happy right now. So your past loved one is saying once you especially tap into this happiness that you so need in your life, then we'll allow these other things to happen so that you can actually be happy when certain things happen instead of just being like, okay, that's a relief. Now this thing has happened. I don't have to like strive toward it happening. You know, that's a really big message. Focus on, I feel like it's almost like in order. Where it's like focusing on the past will help you in the present, which will help you in the future, like in that way. So if a lot of you are focused on what the future holds for you, maybe thinking you're not worthy enough, your past loved one is saying you are worthy enough, that things are meant to happen for you, but you need to open up more of yourself. And things will then inevitably fall into your lap in a positive way. These things that you would like. But I want to go back to saying how some of you, or many of you, as you are more vulnerable with yourself, your ideas for your life that you have will actually change. So that's also what your past loved one is saying, is don't focus so much on the future. We see that you have a lot, or I see that you have a lot of things that you want to have happen, but I don't know how much you actually want these things to happen as much as you feel like they just should or that you need them to. So think about the wants versus the needs, because sometimes our needs aren't even things we want. I think sometimes you think you need something, but you don't, and it's like you don't even want it. You just think that you need it. Does that make sense? So your past loved one is saying there's these blockages that you need to work through. Things will become a lot clearer once you are able to open up and expand your mind, but really connecting with other people. And I want to go back to that Ten of Cups again because I think there are family members who are maybe in a similar boat. I think you could be very similar to certain family members in your life. Uh, like you deal with grieving the same, or you maybe, you grew up in a household where people just weren't very emotionally available. So you could be that person your past loved one is saying to help open up that door. So even if other people still don't feel super comfortable being vulnerable or opening up, if you do that, other people are more likely to in the future, and it might take quite a bit of time. But I see that that switch will help you connect even more strongly to your family members that are already here. All in all, though, I think that your past loved one, they really do come in with such a nurturing energy and with grace. And it feels like they just want to tell you, like, don't give up on things, don't escape from things. And it's okay for you to feel like anything that you feel is okay. You're not a bad person for being angry or sad, or you're not a weak person for being vulnerable. Your past loved one really wants to emphasize that how do I wanna say this? Just emotional vulnerability, there's strength in that. And so you don't need to hold back. Because that's the thing too, when we hold back our emotions, we're holding back on these other opportunities in forms of abundance that are waiting for us. It all translates, it all relates to one another. So your past loved one is saying that if we don't hold back anymore, that will affect everything in our lives, in your life, I should say, and it will allow things to progress. I also see your past loved one saying that they will try to send people your way that can enter your life who will be helpful in your healing journey and who could even be lifelong friends or like mentors in some way. I see that happening. So be open to other people who may enter your life during this time that your past loved one is sending to you. And they also, I feel like, I want to say, might be very similar to this person who has passed on. These people who are like friends or mentors in some way, or they may look very similar to this passed on loved one. Anyway, oh, and I want to say for some of you who maybe lost a friend very young, that's also, I think, why some of you maybe feel stuck. It's like you feel like you can't live your life because their life was cut so short, but in that case, they would be saying, like, you have to be able to make friends. Like, there's other people out there other than just me. You deserve to have people in your life who care about you. Okay, let's go to, flipped right to it. Raccoon, resourcefulness. You have all the resources you need. Everything you need is right in front of you if you only look. There's no need to be fussing about this and that, creating drama and turmoil, worrying about whether you'll have enough for the next hour, the next day, or the next week. Whatever you need will be there. You might have to forage a little, but it will. Trust that. There's nothing to fret or worry about. Not really. Use your brain and your intuition in partnership to not only help you solve the problem, but actually solve the problem. At first, it may not be obvious where to look. That's why you have to poke around a bit until you turn up what you need for this or any other situation. Sometimes when you follow your hunch and look under the couch for your lost wallet, you find the wallet. And don't get tweaked if all the steps you take don't lead to an immediate solution. Don't proceed blindly or out of anxiety or fear. It's impossible to hear your intuition or your brain when you're jumping around randomly. So relax. Trust that what you need will turn up. Exactly. Additional associations: stealth, ingenuity, cleverness, and dexterity. Yeah, I do see things not turning out as planned for you just because your motivations will shift as you open up more to yourself. But Spirit and your past on loved one are saying that that's okay to roll with the punches and to not be worried about things not being a certain way. Or if there's like this past loved one, if they had a certain dream for you that they relayed, like, oh, I can see you doing this, or being like this, or living here, like all these things, Spirit or your past loved one want to say that you don't have to do anything that either your past loved one didn't get to do, or that you didn't get to do or haven't done yet in honor of them, or that they didn't ever do, is what I should say. So don't do something just because this past loved one never got to do it. Okay, or even people in your family, if they like their dreams were cut short because of any of this like family or friend loss, it feels like they are saying nobody, like, that doesn't mean you have to make up for that or other people have to make up for that. Like, people make their own decisions, so if other people decide to stop on their dreams or their goals, then that's on them. You can't force people to be a certain way or to change their mindset about how they grieve even. Okay. Okay. Explore your creative side. Visualize, paint, record. And I will only be reading where it says the Ancestor speak and divinatory meaning. We also have angel number 4444, page 44. And for 444, as it relates to 44, the number, that is a number that, or just for in general relates to protection, security, and healing. So it's a good time to heal and you're in a safe space. Like, your past loved one is watching over you and is wanting for you to conduct this healing process and this healing journey in your life. Okay, the ancestors speak. Get your artistic energy flowing. Try to make time for yourself to paint, write, sing, play, bake, or build every day. Even if you can only find a few minutes at a time, regularly engaging your imagination will make a noticeable difference to your energy. For some reason, I was picturing junk journaling as well. Like, some of you may relate to journaling, but I think a lot of you, again, it's more so your actions and the things that are maybe symbolic, not anything that's directly like anything with words. So junk journaling could be helpful for you too. You do not have to be an artist, musician, or chef. When you start thinking more creatively, you invite inspiration and ingenuity in all that you do. Look, at ingenuity pops up again. And it was just for the raccoon card too. Crazy. Of course, divinatory meaning. When you unlock your imagination, you are opening yourself to healing energy from the universe. Also, when I think of this card, it makes me think of inner child, so that just further indicates the point that you should do some inner child healing right now. Think of the things that also are suppressed from your childhood that need healing. Creativity is connected to your passion, your solar plexus, and sexual chakras. It is also linked to life force and positive energy. When you are not using your creativity, you can start to feel restless, frustrated, or numb. Re-energized by painting, planting, sewing, singing, playing, or thinking outside the box. This card also encourages you to look for a unique solution to a problem. Yeah, it talks about there's a lot of similarities between this card and the raccoon card, and like coming up with creative solutions for things. So that's really cool. Also, yeah, feeling numb. I think a lot of you are just blocked off from your emotions. Spirit or your past loved one is saying to open yourself up. It's okay. You'll be able to find safe people if you don't have people already that are safe for you. Okay, I will leave it at that. Thank you so much, 3C, for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can update your comments sometime in the future if there are any updates you would like to provide for us all. You can subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. You can check out my other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel, and you can check out my ASMR channel, Brittney's ASMR. That will be linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much again, 3C, and take care.